Hello everyone, welcome and good evening to everyone. We are live. It is the 18th of November. It's 11 PM GMT. Hello. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is nice and safe and healthy and well. And welcome to tonight's stream, which is question time, our weekly live stream where you guys can ask me any question you like about games development, Unreal Engine 4, whatever you want. Up to you. What you want to ask, and I'll do my best to answer it. If I do miss your question, first of all, how you do it is you put in your question in chat. If I do miss your question, don't fret. Just keep putting it in there until I see it. We usually go for about an hour or so. So we'll try and do as many as we can. And hopefully we'll get through everyone's that have come here waiting for today's live stream. We've got a chat open on the side here, so hello Paulie over on Polygon over on Twitch. Hey Perfect Tees, Daniel Agler, Seven String Serpent, Brett Canny, hello X Draco, Daniel Agler, hello from Mexico, hello, how you doing? Hello Christian, hello everyone that's joining us on Twitch, YouTube and on Facebook Gaming. We're just loading up Unreal at the moment, so we're just waiting for that to crack on and then we can get started. Whilst we're waiting for that, a few things that have happened. So, where are we at? So, the FPS RPG series over on patreon.com/Ryan Laley has finished its third chapter. So, we're now moving on to chapter 4 next week, where we start doing NPCs and talking to NPCs and so forth. So, FPS RPG series is well on its way, and it's exclusive to Patreon members for a limited time. Keep as a way of saying thank you to all those who are supporting me. None of this would be possible without you guys, so thank you once again. Let me just click on this and get this going. Question time. Oh, and there we go. Okay. Yes, I won't. This time I'll make sure I share my screen. That was stupid, wasn't it? We'll definitely do that. We'll just wait until it's loaded up properly and then we'll get cracking. So other things, the new Patreon goal is up now. If you didn't see it already, the new Patreon goal is if we hit 750 patrons, I'll do a series on creating an online deathmatch FPS game. So basically make Quake or Doom, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's happening there. We've got private tuition. There's a handful of dates left in 2020. So if you want a private session, one-to-one session to help you out with your game that you're making, or you just want to learn Unreal in general, you can check out my website for more details. That's ryana.com. The bundle price is discounted until January. So at the moment it's $200 for the bundle of sessions. That's going to be going up in price in January. So the discount will disappear come January 1st. So if you want to take advantage of that, you've got to take advantage of that as soon as possible. Once you purchase it, you can use it whenever you like. There's no time limit. You get to keep them forever. This thing has taken a while to load. Apologies. Whilst we're waiting for the load, let's see what questions we've got so far. Okay, so Polygon over on Twitch is asking... Hey Ryan, I've been using your videos to learn blueprints. Great work, thank you for making them. Have you ever covered blocking a beam with a block, say a fire spray, that you can block with a static mesh? Okay, so you've got a few ways of doing something like that. Let's just share my screen. This time I'm making sure I share my screen. And that should be there. I'm going to double check it this time as well. Make sure I'm not going mad. That's it, definitely shared that one. Okay, so a beam that's blocking. So there's a few ways you can go about doing this. If you want, you could do a particle-based system, you can do a physics-based system, you can do a line trace-based system. It depends on what kind of thing you're doing. If you're doing fire, I would recommend a physics-based system, maybe. Or you could do like a line trace with particles going to the length for the line trace. But yeah, so essentially doing a line trace that is blocked by stuff. So let's quickly make one. Go to Blueprint Class, Actor, Beamer, we'll call it. And this thing is going to be firing at a beam, in this case a line trace. And if you want, I do a line trace, but if you want to see the other methods, I can possibly go through that. But on the tick here, we're going to do a line trace, so standard line trace stuff. Line trace by channel. Get actor location. That's the start. Whoop. Get actor forward vector. What filming thing am I using? Is it coming out bad and poor? I can't see the stream. Hang on. Let me double check it. Bad and poor. That's all right. That's coming through fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Get actor forward vector. So you get your forward vector and we multiply it by how far you want the beam to check. In this case, we'll do like, I don't know, 1000. And you add it onto here to get the end result. This is a standard setup if you want it to go from where it's facing. We'll do a cube. Looks like that. And then draw debug we'll do for 1 frame. And yeah, so this thing will just generate a beam out of it. So when I push play, it does this. And so this beam is blocked by something in a trace channel. So at the moment it's not blocked by the player because the player is using a different trace channel. So on line traces, or any kind of trace, you can set up the trace channel. So here it's set the visibility. And all objects in your game have a setting which determines how they react to different trace channels. So for example, if I go to the player character, click on the capsule component and go down to collision, expand open, you can see here trace response, visibility and camera, and it's set to ignore visibility but hit and block camera. So if I've set my line trace to visibility, it's going to ignore the player character. But if I want it to be blocked by something, I just change what it's using. So I can either change it here, or I can, if I want to change it on the player, I can do. I just change this to custom, and I'll tick block. Sorry, not ignore, block for both of them, and therefore it will now block it. And what's important though, you can also add other trace channels. They're not the only two. You can make whatever you want. It's just a tag basically, and then you see now that's blocking that red line. And you can use that point there to fire projectiles towards it, particles, what you want to do with it. But that determines when you're getting hit by something. And that works well with blocks as well. So if this block here would block it as well. Push play. You can see it's being blocked by the line trace. And that's it basically. And because it's going based on which way it's going, you can actually tell this thing to like rotate and it'll follow that as well. So let's do a quick rotation node on it. And let's take it down to like 90. And you can see the line trace spinning around because it's going the way it's facing, which is the x-axis basically. Hopefully that answers your question, Polygon. Gives you some ideas. Okay, who's next? Let's have a look. Daniel Aguila. Hi, so I made a menu. However, I'm getting an error. Access none trying to read property. Blah, 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 blah. I've set input to UI only, but it still happens even next to begin play. Help. So, whenever you get this error, it means that there's an invalid reference. And the reference you've got is get pawn. So you've got wherever it says where that's connected to, it should tell you the location of it, give you like a link to it when you click on it. But you'll have like the get pawn here. For example, get player pawn. This is going to be equal to none. And that's why you're getting that error. You can't have that equal to none, depending on what you're doing with it. So you want to. It all depends on where you've got this set up. If it's on an actor, you'd get player pawn. If you've got on a character, There are other ones as well. So you get I'll turn that off actually. There's other ones as well. So you get porn owner. You've got owning porn. There's AI porn as well. Like it depends on where you've got it going. So click on the link and see where that is. Okay. And then it'll tell you where it is, and just double check what could be causing that not to be true. Does the porn exist? Is it been deleted from the game? If in doubt, if you want to clear the error, if you do a get porn, for example, let's turn that back on. So if you have this, you can do a valid check on this, and this will just check whether it's valid or not, and it won't get an error. So if it is going to try and output an error, it'll catch it and do an is not valid branch down here. Otherwise, it'll go down to is valid up here if it is actually valid. Bear with me, my daughter is crying. I'm gonna have to go and deal with her. Be right back, and I'll answer some more questions. I'll answer your question, Brett, when I get back. Sorry for this. Be right back. Gone back to sleep now, so we'll see how that goes. Yes, I'm on baby duty tonight. Okay, so Brett, I will send a cloth paints question. Okay, yeah, send over whatever you want over. Get my ear open so I can hear the monitor going off. X Draco. Question in FPS: how to make the iron sight line with the center of the camera. In your tutorial, camera attached to the gun, but the aim is in another position when you switch. If you mean the center, like, there's a common question I get from this. Those crosshairs aren't in the center of the screen; they're lower. So when you're using the camera's location and rotation, that is actually the center of the screen. If you want it to go to where those crosshairs go, you can either move the crosshairs or offset the camera's rotation down a bit. So that is, I think, 20 or 10 pixels lower, and you can see that. You can, if you go into the HUD class here, you can see that offset here. So it's 20 units lower. So that's making it lower there. But if I were to make it dead center, I just remove that. That's the easiest way of doing it. But if you want to make it so the crosshair stays but the camera aims lower, then you need to take the camera's rotation vector, or like its forward vector, sorry, and offset that by 20, the endpoint by 20. So that's the thing you have to think about. Okay, what setting... Oh, Brett here with his question about cloth. What setting controls how much the cloth moves? There's a number of them. I don't have a thing in here I can use, I don't think. Let me have a look. Try and do it with a bush. Yeah, it might work. So, no, you need a bit. Need a bit skeletal, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't think I've got anything in here I could use. Oh. Try and touch that there. Copy clothing. I've forgotten how you do this bit now. God. What am I missing? Do the cloth paint. Section selection. I've forgotten how to do it. Off the top of my head anyway. Yeah, so it's not just one setting, there's loads. It comes up around here, like the physics assets, I think. I've forgotten how you make it into a cloth. You do that. Do you right click? No, what did you do? Forgotten what you do. I don't really mess about with the cloth stuff, so I have to go and consult the documentation. I swear you do something. Yeah. Maybe this model hasn't got it set up for it in mind. Yeah, but I don't think I can do it with this model. I haven't got any other skeletal meshes in here to do it with. That's why I thought you just right click and do create clothing. Can't do it here, can't do it there. Yeah, I think you need a model that has sections on it. But I don't have sections on this thing. Yeah, it's just a matter of just tweaking things. That's really all. You just play with the numbers and experiment till you get it. There's no real answer to it. It's literally just play with the numbers, tweak the numbers, mess about with sliders. That's all there is to it. Anything. It's important to note with like anything like physics based, AI based, movement based. All of that stuff is done by just estimating and guesstimating. There's no like, if you want it to be like leather, enter this value, this level, this value, this value. You can get a starting point like that, but in the end, it's just going to turn into experimentation until you get what you want. It's nice. My hair's doing something weird, isn't it? So you just experiment till you get a value that looks fine. And that goes for loads of things like that sort of stuff, like AI, physics. You just keep tweaking numbers till you get what you want. That's why that stuff tends to change all the time in games and development. With Apex Destruction, how would you disable the collision with a player? Sorry, this is from Tall Muffin. With a player, but still have the fracture when the player collides. So a player hits a window, I want it to break, but not stop the player. I think you... It's been about 2 years since I've touched the Apex Destruction stuff. And I think you just you have to decrease the mass of the thing you're smashing. Change that. Change the mass. That should allow your player to go more through it. Connor Close. Hi Ryan. When getting random points in a bounding box, is it possible to filter results to tell the AI to keep the distance from each other? Not really. That would involve things like EQS system and things like that to get them to adjust based on distance from each other. That would be the best way of doing it. But there's no real like filter way to do it. You have to do it like an EQS system. So they'll search for other AI and look at their distance from each one and compare that with the random positions and see which one is got the best position. It's not done much in games. It's mostly done in like sport games, funny enough. So they spread out a bit, but yeah. Isaac Farher. Hi Ryan. Oh, hey Ryan, I think it's meant to say. Would you know how to set a trace to create a highlight or change a property of an object you're looking at? Like a glowing highlight to help them when selecting an object. Funny you should say that. It actually brings me up to a point about Black Friday and my outline tool. So let me get a link to it. Oh, God's sake, hang on. So on Gumroad, I've got my outline tool, which is literally what you described, available to purchase. And that will be going on sale for Black Friday weekend. So is it next week, isn't it? I think it's next week. Yeah, next week. So from the 27th to the 30th, that's going to be massively discounted. So if you want to get that outline tool for a massive discount, check in on Black Friday weekend, and that'll be there. I will also obviously will tweet about it, put posts on social media about it, all over the place. People can take advantage of that. So that'll be on sale over the Black Friday sale. So if you want to just purchase it, you can do. It'll be cheap. It's already $12, so it's really quite cheap, but it'll be even cheaper come that weekend. But yeah, that will handle all that for you in a really simple way. Let me just get the link to it. How do I share this? Oh, there you go. They don't make this easy, did they? Oh, there you go. Copy URL. I'll put it in chat. Okay, so that's the Gumroad for the outline tool. So if you're interested in it, hang out until next, unless you really desperately want it right straight away. You can get it straight away now if you want, or you can wait till next weekend and get it massively discounted. So yeah, check that out. Will I be able to integrate my current trace system? Yes, it works with just one function. That's it. You tell it to turn off or on, and there's another object in there that you control the settings like color, thickness, how X-ray it is, see-through it is. But it's just one function that turns it off and on. There's a couple of things I want to add to it as well, so I will update it at some point in the future when I get a spare moment, whenever that is. But yeah, that will be happening at some point. But yes, you can integrate with anything you like. Xdraco, I want both sites to be pointing at the same spot in space. Sorry, my English is not very good. Okay. If you want it just to be center of the screen. Okay, so let's do that. So at the moment, our player character here. Let's close that, and close this. So, getting it to shoot to the center of the screen. Okay. Rather than using the camera's rotation or the actor's rotation to do it, we're actually going to say to the center of the screen. So when you do a line trace for the hit trace, your starting point and end point will be based on the position of the screen. So your start point could be from the gun, although I would do it just from the camera point of view. So if you get, this is where I forget everything. So if you get viewport size, split that, and then divide that by 2, and that one divided by 2. That'll get you the center of the screen. Okay. Then you want to deproject screen to world. The screen position is going to be these two combined, so let's make that a vector, or just split this, actually might be easier. So you've got the viewport size. We halve it to get the center of the viewport, and then we set it to this screen position here. The player is the player controller, so we know what screen we're looking from, and that'll get you a world position and world direction. The world direction is the forward vector of the screen wherever you're looking. So if you use that, so world position will do as a start, but the world direction will do this multiplied by how much, however you want, 1000, and then you add it onto the position here. And what that does, it projects for a line from the center of the screen, like from the where your eyes are, out into the world. So your hit scans are technically coming from the camera rather than the gun, and then you have the particle effects come from the gun, obviously. But the actual center of the dead center of the screen, that's how you line trace to the dead center of the screen all the time, regardless of what camera you're looking through, regardless of whatever you're doing. That's just going to go to the center of the viewport and spit it out. Hopefully that helps, X-Draco. Melicon, good afternoon, Ryan. I was wondering if you had any tutorials on the gameplay ability system. I don't, but I remade it in Blueprints, so if you want to check that series out, that's all on YouTube. It's like 19 parts so far. There's one more bug fix one I think I need to do, but by and large it's all there. But the actual gameplay ability system, no, I haven't. I wanted to remake one, basically make my own one in Blueprint form, so people who don't like C++ or are too scared of it, they've got an ability system by Blueprints. So check that out. So Rockhopper, like a Borderlands style outline, kind of. The Borderlands style outline is a little bit different. I am planning on doing a video on that and explaining the maths behind it and how it works. But it's slightly a bit different. It's more just taking the silhouette of it and doing an outline around the silhouette. So it's like a highlight system. But you could tweak it, I guess, if you want to do like a Borderlands type thing. Zimmy Jim, how do I get a soda to spawn in a slot of my machine using spawn actor, spawn transform location in my soda machine events? Okay. Let's make a soda machine. That'd be fun. So, need to make the soda machine first. I have not obviously got the model, so I'm going to have to make something up. So we go soda machine. Can't spell soda machine, but there you go, that'll do. And this will be a soda can. So let's design this thing. We'll put a box in it. And let's just change the size of it a little bit. How big is that? Let's have a look. A little bit bigger. Do that. Okay, so you'd have the. I actually need to make the mesh for this properly. Ah, damn. What would be the best way of doing it without making the mesh? I'm gonna have to make the mesh. Shoot. Okay. I'll load up Maya. I'll quickly make a mesh. I'll come back to it once I load up Maya, and we'll make a soda machine. Hey Ryan, I've seen you have a family. How much time can you spend in programming, and when you take your time for programming? It's like now. So basically, I work until about 2 AM in the morning every day, and I'm up again about. Well, last night I was up at 4 AM for my little girl, but I'm usually up about 5 or 6 for work and kids and stuff. So literally, when I put them to bed, that's when I get some work. As a health reason and mentally and physically and emotionally, I never ever sacrifice family time for programming or YouTube channel or any work. My children and my wife always come first. So if they need something, I'll go and help them out. I'll go sort them out and help them. as you guys have noticed, to those who've checked out my streams before, where I have to go deal with my children or just cancel them completely, they always come first. So for everyone out there, my one good advice is, I've got quite a lot of good advices, but one of them is don't ever sacrifice those who look after you, who love you and care for you, for work. They are always more important. There's a lot of people who say, I have to sacrifice things. I sacrifice materialistic things like sleep in this case. But that's all on me. That doesn't affect my family. They always come first. And that should always be the case for everyone in this industry. Always put your family first. Never the work. Okay, so let me make a... still loading. Got so many going on. Hello. Shimaro, how can I get a value that I set on the object in the scene on the blueprint class? For example, a vector. Hang on. How can I get a value that I set on the object in the scene on the blueprint class? Wait, do you mean... Hang on. So, for example, we'll use this beamer here that I made. So if I have like a vector here, okay, and you've got it ticked as instance editable, if you're dragging that into the world, I'm guessing you mean you're changing this value here, and are you asking how you get that value back to the blueprint class? Let me know, Shumer, is that what you're asking? How you get that back to the blueprint class? Let me know in chat. So let's quickly make a machine here. Whoop. As we'll do. And I'm just going to put a little thing there like that. Let's push that back a bit more. Okay. One soda machine. Okay. We'll export that out. And whilst I'm here, I'll make a soda can as well. That way I know the size is perfect. Just put my desktop for now. That'll do. And just make a soda can quickly. Okay, that should do it. Okay, so I've put this on the center. When you're modeling objects, make sure you always export them on the center. So let's position that there, and we'll export that out. Let's go back into Unreal and import those two things in. If you have a mesh and you want it to collide with the thing, okay. Yes. Important. Squid guest, if I have a mesh, how do I get objects to collide with the mesh and not its bounding box? You have to make the mesh the root. So, for example, this beamer here, we've got the root and the cube. The root, if the root is a collision thing, like a capsule or whatever, that's going to receive the hit first. It'd be actually easier if I show you on the player character, because that has one. So the capsule component receives the hit first and then determines whether or not to pass it through or block it. If it's set to block, then it won't go to anything else. If you change it to overlap, it will detect that hit there and carry on to the mesh. So you can either change it to overlap or you make your mesh the root. Be wary of that though. If you're doing a character, you can't do that. You have to have a capsule component. So best to do is make it overlap. That's the difference between overlap and ignore and things like that. Overlap will let it pass through and hit other things like the mesh here. Yeah. Okay, back to the soda machine. Okay, so let's change that mesh here to use this. Soda machine. Compile. Close. And in the soda machine, I'm going to add a socket. Dispenser. And I'm going to position that up inside it in this little hole. So turn the snap off. Move it in. And I'm going to rotate it so the red arrow is going down. The red arrow is its forward direction. So if you've got it going down like that, it's going to be facing down when I drop it. So I'll do that there. I can use that as a reference point for when I drop it. Then I'm going to change the collision on this. I'm going to be quite lazy and bad with this, but I'm going to change the collision of this whole entire thing to complex. So you go to collision complexity, and you can use complex collision as simple. What that basically does is say it uses the mesh as its collision mesh, which isn't optimized. It's not good, but it's quick, so we'll do for that. All right, so yeah, so was it Shamaro? So if you've got that value there, if you want to use that value, just drag it out and use get. That refer to any value that you've entered here, and that's how you get the value from the scene to the blueprint. Okay, back to the soda machine. So we're gonna do we'll do a timer to do this. Set timer by event, custom event, spawn can, looping every 1 second, spawn actor of class. We don't have the actor yet, so we'll do that in a second. Spawn transform, we're going to get socket transform from the cube here. Yep, so get socket transform cube, and then put in here dispenser, which the name of the socket is. We want the world space, which is correct, and then plug that in there. The class we need to make, so let's go make the class. As actions, correct blueprint for this. So they can BP for now, that'll do. Click OK. And you want because it's a physics asset, you want the mesh to be the root. And I'm going to tick simulate physics, and that should do it. Hit compile. I'm going to go in here and again tell this thing to use. Probably can use a capsule collision on that. Yeah, there you go. That'll do. Okay, close that, and then we go back to here and choose our soda can BP, and hit compile, and that'll do. So I think that'll work. So let's drag that into the world. Oh, it's there. And let's spawn. Hit play. And that should. There you go. Soda machine. And it'll just keep doing that. Let's make it a bit bigger. And here it comes. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. And obviously, they're physical with me as well, so I can knock them all about the place if I wanted to. They do affect me, so when I hit them, they do hit me back. How's that for you? And how to place a soda on the slot of the machine? What? Yeah, the cans will scale because the socket's scaling as well with it. So that's now going to get blocked up. Oh, my balls got stuck. And if we want, we can make the whole soda machine also physics based. Again, if we make that the root, turn this to simulate physics. This may cause some issues, so this will be fun. Oh, we're alright. Okay, we're alright. Oh, wait. Oh, you can't do it. It's complex or simple. But damn. I was going to try and knock it over. But never mind. I'm going to put the root back in. The root, by the way, is just a scene component. So if you ever lose the root, just make a scene component. Just make that the root. Giant soda machine. Bush, 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 bush. So I can explain. I can explain how it works. Oh, I've got Simulate still on. I'll turn it off. So the main work that's happening is on the mesh. So it's because it's using complex or simple. I can turn it on. You can see. Oh, I don't know if you can see. It's quite faint. Basically, the hole is actual hole in the collision mesh. And so the socket is just spawning it in that socket in a hole. I put a little ramp in it. So when it hits the ramp, it just rolls out. Make the soda can a physics-based object so it can roll about and do stuff. And then the soda machine, I've just made it do spawn a can. If you want that to do with an interact, you do with an interact. If you want overlap, shoot it, and it'll do stuff. Whatever you want to do. So if I want to make it so it shoot it, I'll turn that off, and we'll do a hit event. Not hit event. On this thing, we have to tell it to simulate hit events. I think that'll work. Hit event. And we can do spawn can. I think that'll work. There you go. Oh, 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 oh. It's going to crash. It's going to crash. It's because they're all hitting it. Therefore, they're spawning multiple. Uh-oh. I've crashed it. I've crashed it. I've crashed it. No! Control delete. I don't know if the stream's still working. I can't tell. Jesus. Yeah. That was close. Woo. Yeah, if you're going to do that, make sure you check that it's actually a projectile hitting it, not anything else. So, cast 2, projectile. There we go. I'll fix that. Because the cans were hitting it, and they also do the hit events. So, once, twice, 3 times a lady. There you go. There you go. Native Black, would you use a widget switcher or widget animation to make two ability bars swap on button push as if they were stacked on top of each other? I would do an animation, personally. You could do either. There's loads of ways in it. You can do a widget switcher, an animation, or do a Z order. Just change the Z order with it. You got free choice. You can do whatever you want with it. All like okay. Squid Guest, how do you stream UE4 without dropping frames? I think that's more to do with my streaming software. You just got to turn the bitrate down. When is the next FPS RPG video coming? You've got next week. So chapter 4 starts next week for patrons. So they're coming out next week. You've got coming out on Friday a brand new AI series. We're doing stealth AI. Starting off with doing like crouch and prone animation, switching, things like that. And then you'll be able to do executions, takedowns, and do sneaking up on them. Puddles, when you walk through puddles, make sound effects. That sort of stuff. But yeah, that's on Patreon, that one. God knows when that'll be out on YouTube. I don't know if it'll be out before the end of the year on YouTube. It may have started on YouTube before the end of the year, but we'll see. David Murray, how long have you been working in Unreal Engine 4? About almost 4 years in Unreal. Other engines before that as well. X Draco, is it possible to set the world position of an actor based on a component tied to the same actor? How to compensate the relative position of the component to the actor? Is it possible to set the world position of an actor based on a component tied to the... Yes. So if you we'll use my beamer here. So on my beamer here, let's add another component to this thing. Let's add I don't know, a sphere collision. Why not? And we'll put that over here. And what we'll do is I'll turn it off. We'll make it so it goes to that location of that sphere. So you want to do is grab the sphere. Not on the tick. We don't want to do that. How can we do this? Let's do this on... We do an active begin overlap. So an active begin overlap will make it so the sphere, it will get the world location of that. So get world location. And then you want to just set actor location to that location. And that'll move the whole lot over to there. But obviously this component will move with it. If you want that component to stay where it is, then you can move... You've got a few things. You can move the other component to that location. So the actor technically stays still, but the other component will go to the other component. Makes any sense? Same component a lot. So set world location to that one there. I'm just making it so I can overlap this. Let's change this to overlap. All. And then if I go back to the world, so there's my component here. If I were to move the sphere to somewhere else, if I walk, it's because it's overlapping other stuff. We'll check if that other actor is equal to get player character. Right, try this again. Okay, so when I walk through this, it teleports. Oh, I've got rotation on it. Let's turn the rotation off because that's going to break things. Okay. So that'll move to the sphere collision over there. Okay. If I walk over it, it won't change because the sphere collision is there. It's not going anywhere. It's saying where it is. I think, what was this one? Yeah. So that one will also move. Is that what you mean? X Draco. Matteo Mershon Loper. hey, if it's not too much time, can you explain how to make a level manager or level trigger? I don't know how the correct expression, like how to program the jump from one level to another. I actually have that on my channel already. So if you go to my channel and search for level traveling, I think I've called it. So search that on my channel and you'll find it, and it shows you how to do exactly what you're asking. Rather me go through it again here. Alexander Jesse, I've just finished your first game tutorial, which is great. Thank you. I'm now on your guns tutorial. What tutorials of yours would you recommend I try next? Totally up to you, really. It depends what kind of game you want to try and make. You got a maze game. You could, if you want, have a crack at doing the AI stuff and have a basic AI that walks around the maze as well. You could try that. That could be quite fun. But it's totally up to you, man. Whatever you want to learn to do is there. Okay. Janetta, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Juanetta Bueno. How do I make a loading screen without level streaming? It's just place a HUD before opening a level and remove the HUD when the level open. Yeah, that's it. That's all you do. A loading screen's like a curtain. It just hides the broken stuff that's happening in the background. That stuff pops in. So, yeah, it's just like a curtain. It doesn't really do nothing special. Refa DM, can you make something like the Mario Galaxy gravity mechanics? I'm hoping to. I'm trying to experiment with it. So no official announcement yet, but it's something I'm looking into. Yes. Michael Knight, question: have you looked at UE5 yet? UE5 is not available, so I can't. All I've seen is the videos they've put out. That is it. But rest assured, everyone, when UE5 is available, I will be downloading it and I will start doing tutorials on how to use it. It'll be very, very similar to UE4. It'll pretty much be identical to it. So don't fret. Everything you're learning in UE4 will apply to UE5. Okay, we're going to be going for a few more moments now. So if you're going to get more questions in, do so now. We're going to have go for another 5-10 minutes. Want to make a stamina bar? Stamina bar for what? Sorry. David E. Is it possible to use a landscape tools on an object, i.e. paint grass on a cube? You want to use vertex painting. Again, check out my video on vertex painting on my channel. I explain it and show you how to do it. But you want vertex painting. That's how you do that. What do you want your stamina bar to do, Jimmy Jim? Like when you run? Running faster. We can do. I wonder if we've got time for that. Melatonis, what is your favourite video game? My favourite video game, I've got quite a few, but I'd say the one I always go back to is Banjo-Kazooie. Love it. Stephen Kent, how do you pull a spline from an NPC at runtime? First of all, you have to get the NPC reference first. Once you've got that, then you cast to the NPC that it is, and then you can get the spline from it, just by dragging from the blue pin. But you need the reference to that NPC first. Shimera, how can I create a block volume that reacts just for one actor class? So I'll show that for everyone here. So if you go to edit project settings, you can add your own custom trace channels and your own object channels. So you just search for channels up here. And you've got object channel here. And you can see it comes with one pre-built for you for projectile. You can add your own ones in here. So I'll go new object channel here. And do custom block here. And default response we'll do is ignore. Okay, accept. I'll do another trace channel here as well. So this one could be items, I guess, we would call it. Maybe overlap. Done. And close that. Then if I want to make a block that is going to block it, I can tell it how it reacts to it. So if I want this object here to be blocked by another block, only once though, you change the collision preset and you can see your custom one here. And you just change it how it reacts to it. So this one's going to ignore it. If I want to change that to custom, I can make this one block when it hits that. And that's it. Same goes, you can see here I've got items now and trace channels. You can make quite a few of these and you'll be alright. Okay, let's make a stamina bar for running. And we'll end it on that, I think. Okay, sprinting. So I'm going to do left shift to sprint. And we'll do a custom event here for start sprinting. And we'll do another custom event for stop sprinting. When I push left shift, we're going to start sprinting. And when we release, we're going to stop sprinting. So on start sprinting, we're going to get the what are we going to do? Get the character movement component. That's it. As I said, I'm lasting on 2 hours sleep, so bear with me. Set max walk speed to 1200. But before you do that, we need to do some checks on your stamina. So let's make a stamina meter here. So stamina, that'll be a float, and that'll default as 1. So when we start sprinting, we're going to check we have actually got stamina. So stamina get, and we'll say is if it is greater than 0. Whoops. Plug that in, plug that in. True goes in there. If it's false, we're going to take this stop sprint. Okay. On stop sprinting, you're going to just do this and set it back down to 600, which is its default. Like so. Okay, so that will start those off. It won't do nothing with depletion of stamina bar, but so walking, left shift. Oh, okay, I'll go faster. Let go. Stop sprinting. Start sprinting. Oh, okay. So that's the act of sprinting done. So now to do the stamina. So when you're doing that, we can do a boolean. If you want to do a boolean, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a timer. So set timer by event, or we'll do set timer by function actually, and we'll call the function deplete stamina, and object is self. Time we'll do 0.5, and we'll take the loop. The return value you're going to drag out and promote to a variable, and we'll do stamina timer, whatever. And then when you stop sprinting, we're going to drag stamina timer out and tell it to clear and invalidate timer. That'll tell it to stop basically. So then we have to do is make our function to deplete stamina here. Deplete stamina. Make sure it's spelt the same as it was back then. And we're going to deplete stamina by an amount. So the input here, we'll make a new input. And yeah, okay. We're doing input and I'll have to show you something you have to change. So make that float, and that'll be stamina. And that's the amount of stamina you're going to lose. So you get stamina minus that bit, and then set stamina. We're then going to check what stamina is. So we're going to say if it is less than or equal to 0, we're going to tell it to stop sprinting. Okay. So that'll do that. So as I said, because we added this parameter here, this is going to change somewhat. So what we're going to do here is we're going to change this to set timer by event. Hook them back up. Don't need self now. The event though, because it's a function, you have to drag this out and do create event. And we should hopefully see our deplete. Search for it. Deplete. Nope. We should see it. Maybe compile it first. No. Ah, damn. I've forgotten how you do this. Okay, we'll just do a custom event then. Custom event. Call deplete. And we'll do deplete stamina. And we'll deplete by 0.1, for example. Time 0.5 and looping. So that will call this function here, which just moves stamina, and then at the end we check whether or not we have any stamina left. If we don't, stop sprinting. And to test that out, I'm going to print string this here. So print string, and show that. Compile. I'm going quick because I don't want to spend too long on this. So if I hold down shift and run 0.8, 0.9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now stop sprinting. Okay, but now I have to regain it because now I can't regain it. So if we go into here again, I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, so now we're going to regain it. When we we have to do a tick event. No, not tick event. We'll do on stop sprinting. Not stop sprinting. Would be the best place to do it. We can do doing a tick, I guess, but I don't like tick. Okay, what we'll do then is when we stop sprinting, we'll start another timer. So set timer by event, and we'll do a custom event here, and it requires one regain stamina. And this one's going to be very similar. So this one has set stamina, and that's going to be stamina plus 0.1. Obviously those values you change to whatever you like. That'll do that on a loop every do it every 1 second. So every 1 second it will increase by 0.1. We're going to clamp that though, otherwise it'll go too high. So clamp that between 0 and 1. And then with the return value here, promote to we'll set that to stamina timer. We can use the same timer for it because we've cleared it and we're starting a new one. And then when we push the button at start, this will override it, hopefully, and that will stop that from playing. So, well, actually, let's just make sure it does it. We'll just move that forward and just clear and invalidate this thing. Then it sets it to something else. Okay. So, that'll do it. So if I push play now, and left shift. Oh, let's put a print string in it. So print string here, and print string Yeah. Okay. So we should now see stamina go down when I left shift. And if I let go of it, it'll go up. 0.5, 0.6, shift. And go up and down. So now you've got that value, you can tie that to a HUD progress bar. So let's go quickly through that as the last step. So make a widget blueprint. That'll do. And then in here, I'm going to do a progress bar. That'll be stamina bar. And let's make it so we can see what color it is. So it'd be blue like that. On the graph here, on the event construct, we're going to get player character, cast to your player character's actor, and then store that as a reference so you don't have to keep doing cast all the time because they're quite expensive. So my player character. Once you've got the reference, that's fine. That's all you need. This is like an address. Once you've got the address, you're okay. So once we've got that, we're then going to take the stamina bar here. Sorry, not we could do actually. Yeah, get stamina bar, set %, and that'd be stamina. But now I'm going to do a binding to when it depletes and when it doesn't deplete. So if I make a event dispatcher for this, so stamina changed, we'll call it, and at the end of this, we'll do stamina changed, call that. I'll give it the print strings now because we're doing a bar. So we call an event dispatcher on there, and we call another one on here. Like so. And on widget blueprint here, I'm going to take my player character and bind event to stamina changed. There it is. So every time that is called, we're going to make a custom event. So set % stamina. Plug that into there, and it'll be just this code. Oh, that's got to come from player character. There you go. So every time he calls that, it'll update the bar on the screen. So let's just add it to the screen now. Begin play. Disconnect it from the VR stuff. We don't need it. Do create widget. I know I haven't looked at chat, so apologies if something's gone wrong. Yeah. Okay, it's fine. And then we add that to viewport. And that is just one way of doing stamina. So now it does that. And if I left shift, it goes down. And let go, it goes up. There you go. And I've bound it to an event rather than binding it to the variable all the time, because that's like it's just checking all the time then what the value is, which you don't need it to. You only need it to change it based on when the value does change. So it's a bit far more optimized to do it like so. I can't remember who asked for that. I think it was Zimmy, but hopefully that helps you out. So this live stream will be available to patrons immediately after, and then it'll be available to everyone else next week. Okay, so patrons get a week exclusive, and then everyone else gets it the week after. Okay. Thank you, Dominic, and thank you for joining me as a patron. Thank you. Is there anywhere on Patreon to tell which series are complete versus what's ongoing? Currently not. I'll have to think about that, how to best display that, because that's going to be a tricky one to display, because Patreon isn't set up for stuff like that. I'll figure out. But currently, what's ongoing is the FPS RPG series, the building series, the online multiplayer series, and there's a new AI series starting on Friday. So they're the ongoing ones. plus like load of odd sod little ones coming out as well. Okay. When is the next online multiplayer video for patrons? The next online video for patrons is incoming. I'm just testing a few things out to make it as clear as possible and as easy to follow as I can. So the next one for patrons is to make widgets that respond to players differently. So I'm trying to get my head around that and communicate that to people in a clear way. So still figuring that one out, how to show that one off. As for everyone else on YouTube, it'll probably be out at some point before December. Alexander Jesse, I wish to create a character in Maya, bring it to Unreal, and have it as my player character. Do you have it or know of a tutorial for its full pipeline, modelling, rigging, animating, importing, etc.? I don't personally, but there are plenty out there on YouTube, Udemy, whatever you want to do on there that can handle that for you. And I think that brings us to the end of this live stream. Thank you so much to everyone who asked questions, and apologies for those who asked questions but didn't get answered to this week. We have run out of time, but as I say, this is a weekly show, so come by next Wednesday at 11 PM GMT, where you can ask your questions and I'll try and answer them that time round. Big thank you and shout out to all of my patrons, new ones and existing ones, for their continued support. It's because of you guys that allows me to do this stuff when I'm drained of complete energy. So thank you so much. We've got lots of cool stuff coming. A reminder, my Gumroad product for the outline tool will be available on discount for Black Friday. So look out for news notifications of that next week. All new videos coming out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Live streams Wednesdays and Saturdays. New stuff out almost every day for Patreon. I'm trying to pump out loads of stuff. There's a whole new series coming out soon on Skillshare. I had to take it down because there were some issues with it. I have to refix. Once I fix that, I'll let everyone know that's back up. And that's it. And that's it, everyone. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.